Welcome to Lead Her Chats with your host, Rajade Richmond. This is a no-fluff zone where big girl panties are required. Nothing but true-to-life conversations take place here. We are broadcasting from Bold Radio Station, and now, here is your host, Rajade.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another show with me on Leader Chats. I'm so excited to have you here again on another Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I don't know about you, but it is freezing here in Michigan. I had to actually turn the heat on. So hopefully when you're listening to this show, you have you a nice cup of coffee, maybe some beer or a glass of wine, or even some hot chocolate, and we're going to have some fun tonight. One of the guests that's on the show today, I like to consider as one of my best friends, and she's like my mother, sister, aunt, everything that you can think of that the dictionary may have for a person, that's her. She's a no-nonsense type of woman. But before we get into that, just a reminder, if you hear something on the show that you like and it resonates with you, I want you to tweet me. Tweet me at search SEARCH for F her. I said for the number for her exists. I'm on Twitter, same thing on IG, and we want to respond to you. So if you hear something, make sure you are responding to us on and use the hashtag Leader Chats, okay? But before we get started, I wanted to leave you with a thought, like we did last week. We got a lot of great feedback from that. So the thought that I want to leave you with today, as we're going through the show, and it's also the theme of the show as well, our leader tip of the day, well, of the evening is, in order to be great, you have to live boldly and unapologetically. Now, I want you to marinate on that statement. In order to be great, you have to live boldly and unapologetically. And I say that because oftentimes we diminish our lives, and I am one that has been guilty of this. I have not actually mastered this myself, but I have taken steps to conquer this. And hopefully tonight our guest on the show can kind of help illuminate what does that mean to live boldly, authentically, living in your truth, and how can I do that, and how would this benefit me if I do this? And so tonight the guest on the show is going to really shed some light on that topic area. But let me go ahead and introduce you to her because we're only here for a short time, and I know it's Monday night. You guys probably want to get back to the debate or not, but we're going to go ahead and introduce our first guest. Our guest is Kim Boudreau-Smith. She's a multi-talented CEO and business leader with a legacy of empowering thousands of women. From a corporate background in sales and marketing for over 20 years of experience in the fitness industry, Kim has gone on to be a #1 international best-selling author, with the book being one of the best-selling on Amazon for 2015. Kim is also become a multiple international best-selling author, business consultant, and speaker. Kim combines her expertise with a passion to motivate and inspire other women to become top producers in their lives. As the CEO of Kim Boudreau-Smith, Inc. and Bold Radio Station, her international speaking and coaching work has enabled thousands of women to benefit from her inspirational and empowering work. So without further ado, I want to introduce you to my great friend, Kim Boudreau-Smith. Yay!
Oh my God, I wear too many hats when I'm around you, Rajade. Oh, you're like, okay, my best friend, like my mom and my auntie and all this. And I'm like going, whoa, I'm exhausted. I got to take a nap.
Yeah, you're like 50 million different things to me. It's just, it's like, sometimes when we're having conversations, it's like we're bipolar. One minute we're in business mode. The next minute we're in sister mode. The next minute, we're going to punch each other mode. So it's just like a lot of different modes going on.
I know. It's crazy. I know. But you know what? That's what collaboration and coming together is all about.
Right, exactly. So let's dive right into it. And, I said you can be my Kimmy Poo, as I like to call her. You can be yourself. They're going to find out why your radio station is called Bold Radio. Just because, your personality, you have like I said in the beginning, you have a no-nonsense type of mentality, attitude. You mean you have no tolerance for BS, period. And so that's what I absolutely love about you. So the topic today is the power of living authentically and boldly. And oftentimes, like I mentioned before, we diminish our light. So we hide behind things or fears, or because we're worried about what people may think about us. And I remember this year you shared with me, and I was so shocked. I don't know if you remember when we went to the Mexican restaurant in Royal Oak.
Yes.
Yes, you shared with me something that I didn't even know, and I would never have known. And I was just so like amazed. I was like, "Oh yeah, Kim is going to be on my radio show! Yay!" But do you want to share about that? Like, because for me, just to hear, when we read I just read your awesome bio, by the way, and then for you to share with me what you share is just once you get into your story, a lot of people will think like, oh, I can't do X, Y, and Z because I don't have this and this and this and this, and I'm not in line with this person. So how can I do X, Y, and Z? And that's really about what you did was you decided like, hey, I'm not going to let something stop me. So I'm going to go out and live wherever the hell I want to live at and however I want to live. And so that's what I want you to talk about here tonight.
And you know what, I've really have done so much of that. I just go live what I want to do and stuff like that. So you talking about, that lie I was living and then I fessed up. Okay.
Yeah.
So I have had a very successful corporate career, shining star in a corporation, leading the way, sales, just building this market here in the Detroit area, and then was promoted, moved to Boca Raton, Florida, where my kindergarten friend used to live, and we were both single, and I was overseeing 9 states and traveling. I was living my dream, and it all came tumbling down just in one conversation. But anyways, one thing after another, finally I'll fast forward at 48, I'm now 56. At 48, I fell asleep here at a major intersection. And, Jade, you and I don't live far from one another. On Woodward Avenue, which is 4 lanes south, downtown to Detroit, and 4 lanes north. I don't know how far north Woodward goes. I know through Pontiac. But anyways, busy road. I fell asleep at a red light. And my head fell forward, thank God, and I woke up, and then I fell asleep again. My head fell forward. Thank God, because I would have been in the middle of an intersection. When I came home, I knew I had to get my shit together. I really did, because I was going down. I was a year and a half away turning 50, and I was looking forward to turning 50. I meet so many women that are turning 50, and they're so bummed out. I'm like, man, 50 rules, 50 rocks. It's the second half of our life, But I knew I wasn't going to make it if I didn't get it together, so I fessed up a bunch of lies. And I mean, I fessed up a bunch of lies. One of the lies I was living was I completed high school and also went on to a 4-year university degree. I built my whole life around these lies. And like I said, I had an extremely successful corporate career, but it was built on lies. And I feel these lies were catching up with me through anxiety and depression. And that was one of the reasons why I fell asleep that afternoon in the middle of the day in August here, beautiful sunny day in Michigan. But so what I did is I fessed up, I cleaned up, and I turned to my husband and I said, I never finished high school. And I said, and I'm going to go finish high school. So I drove to the adult education building in Royal Oak, because I went to high school in Royal Oak, the city nearby. And I had to take some tests. And the woman goes, I'll call you this afternoon. I'll let you know how many classes you need. She called me that afternoon. She goes, by the way, you have credits at Oakland Community College. We can grandfather some of those credits in. It's legitimate. So she goes, you need 1 credit to graduate. 1 credit, 1 class. And unfortunately, this class you're going to take is going to be 2 credits. And it's in American history. And let me tell you, when she said American history, I went, oh shit, I'm going to fail. That's instantly what I said to myself, because I don't like history. I have a very difficult time remembering dates. So I have to correlate things like, to dates and stuff like that. I literally said this to myself and went, oh crap. I'm like, okay, how much do I owe? And she goes, you're a resident of Royal Oak. You owe nothing. I said, okay, when do I start? I don't care when. Sign me up, whatever. What else do I need to do? So she said, you're all set to go. Your class starts in September, Monday and Wednesday from 7 to 9:15 for 15 weeks. So off I went. Well, I want you to know, at the age of 50, this was 6 years ago, this past May, I put on a cap and gown and graduated high school, walked across the stage. I got an A in the class, American History. I got an A. And I also went back to OCC and said, a counselor, and I said, I never finished my associate's degree in liberal arts, mental health, social work. How many credits do I need? He tallies it up and he goes, oh, you only need 1 credit. I had this thing going on. He goes, and it's a phys ed class. I said, oh, I could write your phys ed program. I own a fitness business. So off I went. I took a yoga class. I laid back in the back of the room and went, oh, this is a nice day break. Graduated a year. I took that class when that was done, graduated. And I also finished a 2-year coaching degree certification in 9 months. I did that all like within a 2-year period, a year and a half period.
Wow. Like, girl, I hope everyone had their glass of wine.
Let me tell you, Jade, when I was when I remember when I was going back to school. Okay, first of all, at night, you know me, I'm not a night person, and we're getting ready to go into the winter time. I got all this stuff going through my mind going, I hate history. Oh my God, I'm going back to school. I'm driving at nighttime. Oh my God, I'm never going to make it through the class. I'm going to fall asleep. I'll tell you what, the teacher was amazing. I learned so much. I had a fantastic time, and I didn't miss. I don't think I missed one. I had to miss one class, and I said, I'm not going to miss a class. I did extra credit just to make sure I could ace the class, and off I went. It was great.
Wow. Like, you know what, Kim, I can kind of relate to you on a certain level. Like, you know, I can't speak for everyone, but I know to a degree we all have little white lies and skeletons we tell because we're too embarrassed to admit the truth. And I know for me, when I was in law school, actually, it's a test we had to take before even being able to sit for the bar exam. And it's called the MPRE. And basically it's a test about attorney ethics. And, you know, for me, it was really embarrassing, even through law school, because I struggled through law school, and I consider myself to be pretty darn smart. But for some reason, I just wasn't, you know, getting the A's and B's that I was used to, that I have always been acclimated to, and it did something to my self-esteem. So when people would ask me, well, what did you get? I would lie like, oh, I got an A, girl, knowing darn well I got a C or C minus. You know, and then, I mean, I even failed a class in law school, and I was so embarrassed that I had to retake a class. And it was so funny because I had to retake a class, and someone was like, didn't you take this class? I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I convinced them that they were tripping, you know, because I was so embarrassed that I actually failed a class, and I worked my butt off. Like, literally, I did not work during law school and to get those grades. But the thing about it is just, I didn't understand the system of law school. And basically the system was like the grades that I technically got were A's and B's, but the way that they grade, you're graded against your peers. And I went to one of the largest law schools in the country. So you're graded against 100 other people. So you have to be smarter than 100 other people. So your 90 is not a 90. You know, you get graded down based on the best grade, you know, and I didn't understand that. So in my mind, I was thinking like, well, darn, I'm missing something. Maybe I'm not understanding this. Maybe law is not for me. And, you know, and so that did a lot to me. So I lied about it in order to boost my self-esteem. But I convinced myself, like, you had an A in this class, girl. You didn't fail that MPRE test. You passed it with flying colors. But the reality of it was, like you said, it was eating up at me. It was a lie, anxiety. I couldn't sleep. You know, it was like every time somebody would ask me a question regarding my grades and how I was doing in school, it was like I had to tell one lie to cover the next lie, to cover the next lie, and to cover the next lie. And eventually I just said, forget it. Yeah, I failed that class. Oh, yeah, I failed it. You know,
yeah.
Yep. I mean, I was embarrassed. I mean, it was hard, but once I said it out loud, you know, it just kind of like the first person I said it to was my husband. And I told him, he was like, well, you've been studying. He said, if that's your best, don't be upset. And I'm looking at him like, what you mean? And you know how
Yeah.
men can be so laid back, and we're just like women, we're freaking out. And I
I
was freaking
know.
out. Like, I don't want to finish law school. I don't want to get any more debt. I'm like, obviously, this is a sign that I'm not meant to be a lawyer. Like, that's what I would tell him. He was like, well, he said, you're just probably just missing something. He said, he said, you've been studying your butt off. I can't imagine it. And so it just all boiled down to, you know, it was just politics, really, how they grade. It wasn't that I didn't know the information. It was all about politics. So what I ended up doing is I talked to my counselor and I ended up transferring to a totally another campus because we had multiple campuses. And I went to a smaller campus that didn't have 100 some students in a class. We only had 15. And when I did that, I started getting A's and B's. So that's what I ended up doing. And then, I started, talking to my professors and asking them like, what am I doing wrong on the test? And pretty much I was overthinking it. It wasn't that I didn't know the information. I was just overthinking it. And so eventually I did end up passing it, but I was just like you, Kim. I didn't tell anybody. Like I would convince you if you try to tell me something. Nope, that's not true. I got this. I got that. Yeah, I was like living in complete denial. And then even still today with just sorry guys, I have the flu and I'm on this call. So even still today, just living boldly is a challenge. Like I said before, just going for it. And I don't even know why it's a challenge. It's just, we have that fear, like you just don't want people talking crap about you. But the reality of it is people are going to talk crap about you anyway. So you might as well just get over it.
That's you're right. For the longest time, I come from a family that they're uneducated. They're worker bees. They work. My father never, ever, ever missed a day of work. I remember when I was younger, he came home early one day because he was a welder, and he was welding and something flew in his eye. So he had to go to the hospital, and they got it out and patched him up and went to work the next day. I remember in the 70s, when I was in elementary school, we used to have snowstorms where nobody did nothing for a few hours. He would work his way out the back door and walk to work. He would walk, it was like a mile and a half, 2 miles, and looked at my mom and said, there's no school today, stay put, wait and see what the roads are like at the end of the day. They'll be plowed and, come and get me. I mean, and he would walk to work. So I was taught, you work. There wasn't education. There works. But I looked at my parents and I looked at my younger brother and I said, I'm going to be different. And I am different. I'm the white collar person who owns businesses and went on. I'm the first in my family to graduate high school, not to mention have a 2-year college degree. But my parents, they didn't have those opportunities, and nor did I. I felt like I didn't have those opportunities when I was supposed to be graduating high school. So I created them myself when I got older, and Rejade, that's where, it's like if something's not going the way we like it, slow down for a minute, or maybe take a step back and take a deep breath. Like, where you chose to go down to a smaller, to move to a smaller campus, there's nothing wrong with that, or when I hear you say you were getting C's in law school, I'd be like, I'll take that. Because that's tough. I mean, law school's tough. That's no cakewalk, and, so I think, there's a lot of dimensions here of, you're all about leadership. I am too, is the dynamics of what that leader really looks like. And it can't be being a leader based upon what everyone else thinks that is. It can't be. It just can't be.
Well, like you said, for me, growing up from a similar background like yourself, Kim, being the first generation to, go to school, be in corporate America and all that great stuff. It's just, I wasn't prepared for that lifestyle. No one prepared me and I didn't know how to deal with it. And so as a result, when I got into a world where people who were comfortable with who they are and, living a life that they're happy with and unashamed of where they come from, I wasn't there. And so I couldn't live boldly or authentically. I had to make up these lies just to feel like I was in, that I fit in with everyone else around me. And as a result, it kind of deteriorated my
Yeah. That's what happens when we are trying to fit into what we think society is thinking of us or saying of us or going to accept us. We get so unaligned and so whacked out that it shows up, and it shows up in our health. It shows up, it just shows up in so many different ways. I mean, for a lot of people it could be, credit card debt because they're trying to go and fulfill themselves in other ways, so that's what I'm adamant about, the leadership, but it's got to be on our terms, it's on our rules, our terms. There is no box, it's based upon what is working for us. And by the way, and as you know this, Rajay, people are going to have freaking opinions. We're human beings. We have opinions. It's a matter of what you're going to do with it.
Right, exactly. And for me, like I said, I grew up with low self-esteem. So people's opinion of me and what they thought I should do, I would listen to. I didn't have my own opinion. And that's why I love this topic so much, because it's about living boldly. And living boldly means living life on your own terms, defining what it means to you to live and be happy. And so you have to make a decision on how do you want to live. Do you want to live a life, and living boldly doesn't mean you have to have all your business on social media. It doesn't have to mean you have to tell all your skeletons that's in a closet. That is not what that means. What it means is living life basically how you want to live it. And you're truly, truly happy. And you're not depending upon someone else's opinion to shape how you define yourself or how you want to live. And so, Kim, that's what I wanted you to talk about tonight also, because you have created a platform for women called Bold Radio. And what I love about that, what Leader Chats is actually on this platform, Bold Radio Station, is that you give women an opportunity to showcase and talk about whatever the hell they want to talk about.
Yeah. Yes.
And that's what I love, because it's no right or wrong. You give us the tools to actually voice our opinion. And for me, you allow this platform for me to be out there, for me to share who I am, number one, as a person, as a leader, as a CEO, so people can get to know me about who is Rajay Richmond, who is this woman that built these two global women organizations. So I'm grateful for that. But I want you to talk about how women can actually use their voice and their story to define life on their own terms, to live boldly and authentically like we have done.
Well, that is like a whole other 5 more shows, but I'll sum that up in a nutshell. Our voice is so important and our voices matter, but we can't be using our voices and putting our heads down the pillow at night and thinking we've been bold when we've torn down somebody else. That is not what our voices are here for. And there's a time to speak with your voice, and there's a time to also to be quiet with your voice. But it's so difficult to find that balance and that I don't even want to say the word balance, and I did say the word balance. That negotiations with one's self. You have to really be able to turn in and do a lot of interpersonal growth work, and be able to manage your emotions. When we start using our voices and they're heated with emotions, it becomes, for me personally, a lose-lose situation. I'm a big firm and fact girl. I mean, if you can get down to being firm and factual and use your voice that way in any circumstance, now you're on the winning side of things, the supporting side of things. And you also have to be strong enough if the other person or persons in the environment is not able to do that, to be able to walk away, and just simply say, I've done my best. I've done my best. And I find that women, Rajay, and you and I think have had conversations about this in the past, is I find that women had the most hardest time with that. We do need our emotions, but boy, when you are really pulling them into your voice, it could be a tunnel of trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So, boy, like I said, this could be a whole month long of shows. It's really getting secure and confident about yourself. But it's like I said, and I'll use this as an example. It's not, going in and being pissed off at somebody and telling them to F off or screw you, That's not what our voices are for. Especially when you're dealing with another person. That's stuff that shouldn't be meant for human consumption because you can really hurt another person's feeling. It's just staying firm and being factual, and you can really rock on.
Right, absolutely. I think to live boldly is, like you said, number one, you have to do the personal work. And that goes back to what I said before, is you have to figure out who do you want to become and what do you want to do. And then you make a decision on what you want to focus on and how you want to live. And then you just go out there and do it. It's not going to be easy. Like for me, I remember when I first started Search for Her Existence LLC, my first business. I got with a coach. I got with a couple coaches actually, and they told me my idea would not work. They said because it's not a need for leadership for women. They told me I needed to focus on areas in which it can produce a profit and find a need. But to me, in my mind, women's leadership was a need, because for me, when I was in law school, the programs that I offer now, I wish I had something like that when I was in school, because then I probably wouldn't have lied about failing the NPRE if I had some type of skills and training to teach me about integrity, character, just going through that whole interpersonal conflict between myself and reality. That's what we offer with my programs. But I was told in the beginning that no, this would not work. So I decided, because I'm stubborn and hard-headed and maybe stupid sometimes, I decided to go out there and just start a business with $50. I only paid $50 to get my LLC, and I hit the ground running. And through my amazement, so many women were jumped on it. And even now, with us creating the nonprofit that you're a part of, Kim, Leadership for Women, we have this platform that's focused on leadership. And I was told 3 years ago that it was going to fail. And here we are. We're going to be going to London next year.
Yeah. I know. That's, with all that being said, again, that's my big point is, if you are going to use your voice very boldly is, just because, someone else's feeling of failure doesn't mean you have to spew that failure upon somebody else. Mm-hmm. I'm very adamant about picking up the phone and saying, I'm feeling like crap today and I just need some help, and I just need a shoulder for a moment. I need an ear for a moment. I need to hear myself say this, and I need some support and a sounding board. That doesn't mean I'm going to attack the person. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in doing that at all.
Right. And I think that comes into play with having leadership training, because if you don't understand what leadership is, then you're not going to approach, issues and conflicts from that standpoint. You're going to be defensive. You're going to, sometimes people are passive aggressive, thinking that's how they help other people. It's just a lack of understanding. So again, to live boldly is just in a nutshell is defining life on your own terms and actually living it, and not worrying about what people are saying or what your best friend is doing, what your husband's doing, what Michelle Obama's doing. It's about staying in your own lane. And when you stay in your own lane, then people would naturally gravitate towards you. Like for me, Kim knows this about me, and I know we only have a couple more minutes, but I wanted to share this with you guys. When she first met me, she was like, Jay, you are like this big old powerhouse. When you opened your mouth, I was just like, wow, like you need to share your story and everything you do with people. I'm like, no, Kim, I want to be MIA. People do not need to know me. I want to be behind the scenes. Leave me alone. And she swore, like last year when I met her, she said, by the end of next year, you're going to be in front of people, and look at me. She has me having this radio show. Now you're all up in my business, everyone. But no, it's been great because it's helping me live boldly and authentically too. And so it's not just you guys, you see me post all these great things. So you get to see the flaws in me. So you don't think like, oh, Regina is this perfect little person. No, I'm not perfect. I fuck up all the time.
Yeah.
The thing about it now is that I don't lie about it when I fuck up. I just admit it.
Yeah.
I own it and I correct it. When I F up, I own it. Like, for example, there's been plenty of times, Kim, when I tell you like, oh, I didn't do this. And you're like, oh, don't worry about it. I'm like, I forgot. Even with you, Kim, you're like, Rashad, I forgot to do this. I'm like, okay. We own it. We don't make up no excuse like the dog ate my homework. We're like, damn, I didn't do it. And that's pretty much what life is all about. It's about, learning and growing and owning your shit. And that's how you can live boldly and authentically. And I think sometimes that we don't do that because we're just too embarrassed. Society is, especially with the reality shows, they paint this picture that we're supposed to be perfect. And the reality is we're not perfect, and it's okay. You don't have to be perfect, and it's okay. You could still go on to do great things. Kim shared her story with you all, and look at Kim. If you push your mind to it, you can do anything. A degree, a paper, it doesn't define who you are. People's opinions does not define who you are unless you allow it to.
Yep.
So, yes. So, we are out of time, my friends. So, Kim, how can everyone get in contact with you?
Everyone can go over to boldradiostation.com or kimboudreau.smith.com or track me down on Facebook. I'm out there on Facebook as Kim Boudreau, Boudreau Smith. Kim Boudreau-Smith on Facebook. That'll be the easiest place to get in touch with me too, besides the websites.
All right. Well, Kim, I want to thank you for coming on the show. I absolutely love you. You know this about me. And I would tell Zoe you said hello.
Oh, no, don't just tell her I said hello. You got to hug and smooch her all over her face and let her know she's got a new baby cousin.
I will. All right, guys. So that's it for tonight. And I will see you next Monday for our next guest. It will be... I don't know. Oh, Shannon Hernandez will be next week with the Writing Whispering. You do not want to miss her. She's awesome as well. All right, Kim, love you.
Love you too. Thanks, Jade.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in. Hop on over to searchforherexistence.com and join in on the discussion. Also, tweet us at searchforherexist and tell us what you think about today's show. See you next week, all on Bold Radio Station.